Can we give it up for Wicked Muse? And Genevieve, you knew here she's 15, right? Now that's a talent. I was at least 18 before I could sing like that. I'm kidding, I can't sing at all. That was beautiful. Thank you all for that. We just want to make sure all the folks for the birthday party, if you start making your way towards the front here, don't be afraid. I'm going to hand this over to my dear sister-in-law, who knows Andy well. This is probably here. Make your way up. Don't be shy. Grab a beer.
So I just want to. So I don't see it either. And if I did, you guys would all know. So thank you again to the band. We really appreciate you being here. And today's a really big day, Andy. Well, today is not his birthday; it's in a week. But I had the opportunity of surprising him somewhat. So he knew it was a thing, but he didn't know there was this thing. Is it not loud enough, Chris? Thank you. Okay, can you hear me now? Give me a hands up in the back. Okay. No, Chris said no. Better? Okay, so I have to tell you a little bit about Andy. So, yeah, everybody here can tell you about Andy. Andy had a little bit of uncomfortableness about all of this. So I had to tell him there was a thing. But I think he thought there was like 6 people showing up. So here you guys are, and Andy was uncomfortable all day, right, Andy? Tell me if I'm wrong, a little bit uncomfortable. But I can say that the past 2 days, some of y'all have been sending me pictures. I've been looking pictures of Andy's life and the involvement and relationships that he's had with all of you, and I cried the past 2 days because, and I said this to a few friends, sometimes we do this and we get together for funerals and we wait too long to get together and celebrate. And today is a day where people haven't seen each other for a very long time, and we're all here because Andy brought us here. Andy has some connection with all of you, and I want to celebrate that. And so I appreciate you for being here. Some of you drove far. Someone flew here from very far. Wave your hand, Eddie. Eddie in the back from very far. And all walks of life. Old friends, new friends, friends in business, friends, personal friends. It's just a beautiful thing. So I'm so grateful, and I'm gonna stop talking and hand this over to Matt Dom, who's a much better speaker. So come here, Matt. Come here. Yeah, you go first.
Wow, there are some spotlights out there. So, it's kind of funny that you say, usually funerals, because actually when Tom first walked in and we were talking, I was like, you know what, I usually myself don't see this many family members unless it's a wedding, funeral, and again, those end up actually becoming more often family reunions, weddings and funerals, than actually ever getting together. So it is fantastic, and ironically, last weekend I was celebrating my 40th birthday, and the only comment I had from Andy was, I'm going to tell you what your next 20 years are going to look like. So it is pretty funny, because actually even my early on relationship, first meeting Andy, I don't think it was until the last 30 days ago that we actually even realized our birthdays were like a week apart. So it was pretty ironic, but again, it's not quite a funeral. I don't think we're going to turn this into a roast, which that would have been a good idea. But we do have a lot of fun things in store for you. But by the way, so my name is Matthew Dom. I am the founder here at Masteries Brewing Co. It has been a wild ride. Annie and I have become really great friends. He's been a fantastic mentor to me in the last year. We have a lot of Bulls pride, so go Bulls out there for all my Bulls. And we have a lot of fun things going on in the future here. So if you guys don't know, Andy is a part of Masteries Brewing Co. My relationship with Andy started early on when Andy and Eileen were kind enough to actually get involved with a new program that my wife was the director of, or writing the grant on, for the University of South Florida, called You Matter. And yes, if you guys know You Matter, absolutely, please do give it a big round of applause. It is a fantastic program. I know everybody involved with it are super passionate about it. And so when they got involved in our first Green and Gold Gala, I was hanging out, talking to Andy. My beer happened to be at the Florida Aquarium where the Green and Gala was going on. Talking beer, and Andy's like, I like craft beer. I'm like, oh, cool. So we're talking about craft beer. And next thing I know, I'm like, hey, I've got this crazy idea. And between saying craft beer and crazy idea, he said, I'm in. Just, that's all it took. Crazy idea, craft beer. Let's do it. I don't, no more questions. But anyway, so we're going to jump into a few more things here, but we do have some fantastic stuff going on in the expansion. So Andy and I are embarking on an 1.5-acre project within the mid of Pinellas County to build 40,000 square feet of beverage and hospitality that is going to involve everything from, we're working with the local municipality, education with the University of South Florida. By the way, if you didn't know this, the University of South Florida is the only Florida state institution that has a brewing arts program in it as well. So that's fantastic that we get to bring our Bulls pride over to involved with Masteries Brewing Co. And anyways, I can chatter on a long time. Anybody who knows me knows I'm going to go on. So I'm going to actually pass it on to Andy's brother. Come on over here. We're going to have some fun up here.
Thank you, Matt. Real quick, and I'll be short, but do you like this? Anybody like what you're drinking? I mean, I'm thinking the coolest thing my brother's ever done. I know he's done a lot of things, but to logo out. You see that as an evidence. Once he said he got involved with craft brew, okay, I'll come visit more often. So Matt is a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff, and if you like what you are drinking, keep drinking. We got something special. If you let me be a part of what we're going to do next, it's only going to take a second to understand. He said, brainstorm on what would be most important, you think, to Andy. What would kind of get him excited? Well, he came up this concoction. Started working with this elixir. And we came up with something, and there's a reason for it. I'm going to tell you why. He designed a beer for my brother. And it's a sour beer, and it's got raspberry. Sorry, I messed you up. It's got raspberry and vanilla, and everybody, it's on the list there, and you can try it. But Matt designed the logo. Let me tell you what it's based on. This is for you. This is a gift for you. But he said very quickly, come up with something. Ask Eileen. Eileen asked me, what was really like more important, what would be really important for him? Well, it wasn't long before we realized that everything that Andy and I lost our mother a dozen years ago. As you see from the slide, she was very instrumental in our lives. And she did a lot of correcting of her two boys over the years. Now, one was wildly successful, as we know. It's not fair. Andy did well too. I shouldn't say it that way. You did pretty well. But she was the glue that kept us going. So this, Matt was kind enough to call this, hold that up. There's canned, it's called Sweet and Sour Bros. It's a canned beer specifically for my brother Andy. And I'm going to tell you real quick one paragraph that's on your big expensive plaque here. Sweet and Sour Bros. Once upon a time, there were two boys, Andy and Tom. Both had early years of sour troublemaking, but by the grace of God, they were corrected time and time again by the sweetness of their late mother, Sarah. The beer is a tribute to the strength of any mother, sweet enough to correct any wild child. If you like sour beers, you will enjoy Sweet and Sour Bros. The sour rebellious flavors are corrected by the gentle but bold sweetness of raspberry and vanilla. Don't ask if you deserve it, just love it. And don't forget to call your mother. Cheers. Thank you, brother. Love you.
So Andy, we have here what might actually get Masteries their first cease and desist, by the way.
Yes.
Because there is a Andy and Tom, Mario and Luigi-ish looking character on this can. But we have, honestly, this has 92 other friends in the back, by the way. So we got some limited edition, not for sale because we're avoiding that cease and desist. But anyways, guys, it is on tap. This is our, like I said, our Sweet and Sour Bros. It is a raspberry and vanilla kettle sour. Comes in at 4.5% ABV. And between Tom's story and knowing this gentleman's love of our orange creamsicle sour here, it was the perfect fit of a beer here. So, cheers, Andy. Happy 60th.
Cheers.
Thank you for bringing us all together.
We're going to call up my nephews now. Do Matt and Thomas. Yes. My favorite niece. Only niece. Thank you all, my friends.
So I wasn't going to say anything, but someone mentioned a roast earlier. This sounds really mean, but I promise it ends kindly. So one of my favorite things about my dad is that he has no shame. And that sounds like an insult, because it kind of is, but what I respect so much about that is that he is not worried about what other people think. And everything that he knows and believes in, he's going to live through those ideals, regardless of what anyone else thinks, to an extreme extent. So, like I said, it sounds mean, and it is a little bit mean, but I love growing up under him. He taught me so much about how to be myself, steadfast in what I believe in, and I learned so much.
I don't know who said this wasn't a roast, because I texted over 20 of your friends in the past 24 hours, and I have a list of superlatives that I've given to you. I had to narrow some of them down for some PG reasons. Some people told me things that some should never know about his father, and some of them are just really a lot funnier than the rest of them. So, Andy Hafer, most likely to argue that a copy machine was built in the 70s and die on that hill. Be kicked out of a golden corral after staying for over 4 hours. Most likely to pierce his ear with an SAE Brothers pen. Most likely to have a bag of red licorice on him at all times. Most likely to have a guitar but not know how to play it. And then most likely to break a beach chair. And I got a lot of photos of that. And just to get a little more serious here for a minute, I wrote a short toast. So everybody get your drinks ready. So when I was too young to know how old I was at the time, the first time Mom left Dad with Thomas and I, Dad gave us Oreos for breakfast. Very cool dad move. A few years later, he was the loudest parent on the sideline of the YMCA when I finally figured out how to make a tackle in football. When Thomas was 18, he took him very, very far to go to a video game convention where Dad definitely had no idea what was going on. He's taken many trips with Alexis across the world, doing things that aren't hiking and sitting in Adirondack chairs that probably he'd rather be doing. But more importantly, he's a father that loves us and he wants to do things for us because he loves us. This guy once wore flip-flops for an entire year, and then after that decided he wanted a doctorate, so he did that too. He's founded companies, spearheaded community initiatives, created jobs that change people's lives, and eaten ring bologna off a cutting board balanced off his stomach. Clearly, this is a guy that has a lot going on. It'd be difficult to sum them up in a few sentences, but luckily there's a lot of people throughout history who are better writers than me. In a very boring history book I read recently, a Roman emperor writes out many of the characteristics from his teachers and role models in some letters. And in these, he describes his father. I knew I was reading something over 1,000 years old, but I couldn't help but think of my own father while going through it. So I saved some of the characteristics, and I think you all would agree. Self-control and resistance to distractions. Optimism and adversity. A personality with balance, dignity, and grace together. Doing your job without whining. Other people's certainty that what he said was what he thought, and what he did was done without malice. Never taken aback or apprehensive, neither rash or hesitant, or bewildered or at a loss. Generosity, charity, honesty, that no one could ever feel patronized by him or in a position to patronize him. A sense of humor, and above all else, the sense of staying on a path rather than being kept on it. And this part isn't in the text, but the Romans wore a lot of sandals too, so everybody could raise your glass and give a toast to the best person here. Happy 60th birthday, Dad. I'm just kidding. We all love it.
Let's give it up for the offspring. We have one more thing, and this is a big thing. Thank you, family. I'm proud of all three of you. Phil and Karen, you might have heard of them. They're the parody geniuses. They have a song special for this event. And then following that, we have the band to come back. But you're going to love it. I can't say enough about these guys. They wrote a Bourbon Trail song for us 2 years ago, and it's still on the charts. So, do we have a name of you? No name. The Parody Animals.
Parody. That's what we do. So, whoever doesn't know me, my name's Karen. Met Eileen in, I think, 5th grade. Dads were both stationed at the Pentagon. Her dad in the Navy, mine in the Army. So we've known each other a long time. I feel like this. You ever watch Saturday Night Live with the lady? She was like the music teacher. It's gonna get a little goofy here. So Phil and I like writing parody songs. I don't write my own music. I can't even sing well. But what? You need to turn this up?
Louder.
Turn it up.
Do it on the other mic.
Oh,
Can we hear this first? Yeah, we're gonna stand here. Okay, position.
How's this one? Holy cannoli. Recap, Eileen and I, elementary school. Now we're back to now.
Short and sweet. We got the
Check, check, 1, 2. I still feel like the couple from Saturday Night Live. So we wrote it. I think the words might be on the screen up here.
Not yet.
And I just have to get my drink closer for one reason. Because that has to go in my mouth, and then we have a toast at the end.